Trinity Repertory Company.
And I'm Tom Parrish, Executive Director of your Trinity Rep.
Thank you so much for joining us as we unveil the 2018-2019 season.
For months, your artistic team, led by Kurt, has been reading scripts and discussing topics relevant to this community in order to select the exciting projects we will produce for you next season. After this brief introduction, we will announce each of the shows and have a short discussion about each play to give you some background on the artists involved. Feel free to join us using the Facebook chat boxes and Twitter, and you can share this video using hashtag TrinityRep1819. We'll also take a few questions at the end, so be sure to send those in. Before Kurt announces the new season, a few words about this current 54th season. We kick things off with a bang, pairing Arthur Miller's timeless classic, A Death of a Salesman, with one of the most produced plays in America right now, Dominique Morisseau's Skeleton Crew. Individually, the shows were riveting, with outstanding performances from both casts. But together, the shows provoked tremendous dialogue about class, aging, race, and disempowerment. In October, we produced a one-night reading of Just Like Us by Karen Zacharias, in collaboration with Rhode Island Latino Arts and their Executive Director and Trinity Rep Artist-in-Residence, Marta Martinez. During the holidays, our annual production of A Christmas Carol with Joe Wilson Jr. as Ebenezer Scrooge became the highest-selling show in Trinity Rep's history. We also raised over $60,000 for the Rhode Island Food Bank, which was fantastic.
Fantastic.
In January, we produced the world premiere of George Brandt's Into the Breaches, which became one of the highest-selling world premieres in Trinity Rep's history. And closing just days ago, William Shakespeare's classic tale of jealousy, race, and intrigue, Othello, was directed with contemporary flair by rising star Whitney White, and served as an educational centerpiece for almost 3,500 students. And still to come, we have the comedy Native Gardens by Karen Zacharias and the musical Ragtime, directed by yours truly, Kurt Columbus. We're actually standing on the set right now of Native Gardens. The production team is at lunch, so we couldn't pass up the opportunity to give you a peek at how the set is coming together.
And it's beautiful.
Plus, our education and community programs will serve over 20,000 people this season, including 16,000 young people. In addition to these education programs for young people, we also recently announced that our nationally renowned MFA training program in partnership with Brown University will become tuition-free starting next year. This wonderful investment by Brown and the artists of tomorrow ensures that Trinity Rep audiences will continue to have the opportunity to see some of the most talented young actors of their generation on our stage in the years to come. We also recently announced a number of new play commissions by writers such as Jackie Sibley's Drury, Charisse Castro-Smith, and perhaps most notably, an adaptation by George Brandt of the New York Times bestseller by Mike Stanton, The Prince of Providence, which follows the personal and political life of former Providence Mayor Buddy Cianci. These new plays are all in very early stages of development, but we look forward to sharing them with you in the future. A few weeks ago, we also recently opened enrollment for our Young Actors Summer Institute, or YASI for short, one of the best arts education programs in New England. If you have a child interested in the arts, please visit TrinityRep.com for more information. Trinity Rep is a home for artists and patrons alike, and we thank the more than 3,700 subscribers who have helped make this season with our artists. Many of our subscribers have already renewed for this new season that we're announcing today before even hearing this announcement, and we thank them for their loyalty and trust. Likewise, arts organizations such as Trinity Rep cannot survive without the philanthropic support of the community. Thank you to the many donors who have supported us throughout this season. Because ticket sales only cover half of the cost of making live theater, your support means so much. I would especially like to thank our season sponsors, Ocean State Job Lot Charitable Foundation and Rhode Island State Council on the Arts, as well as Southwest Airlines, our official airline. It is now my pleasure to hand it over to you, Kurt, to announce the season.
Thank you, Tom. And a lot is going on here at Trinity Rep, obviously. So we're in the middle of all of this, taking a moment to announce to you what we're doing for next year. Thank you all for your continued support. It's so remarkable. It means everything to me and to all of the artists here. Over the past year, my team and I have read literally hundreds of plays in order to develop a surprising, challenging, and compelling season for all of you. These plays fit three central core values of our theater: our commitment to our incredible resident acting company, our promise to be an educational and cultural resource to the students, teachers, and schools of Rhode Island and Southern New England, and our responsibility as the largest cultural organization in the state to engage and represent all of Rhode Island's diverse communities who have passionately, enthusiastically, and loyally supported us for over 50 years. This season that I'm about to announce is epic, in a word. It's an epic in terms of its size and its scope, and it's one of our biggest in years. Next year, we'll tell you stories about gods and demons, angels and icons, lovers and warriors. The season features cherished stories which will be familiar to you, our audience, as well as bold new reimaginations that are destined to become favorites, classics in their own right. Without further ado, this is your Trinity Repertory Company 2018-19 season. To kick off the year, it's my pleasure to announce that we will share with you one of the most romantic, beloved stories of all time, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. This new adaptation by Kate Hamill is effervescent, whimsical, and just flat out funny. And while many of you may know the story of the Bennet sisters, in particular the fiercely independent Elizabeth and her will they or won't they romance with the handsome, arrogant Mr. Darcy, trust me when I tell you, this production will feel familiar and surprisingly modern at the same time.
So what makes this adaptation so exciting, Kurt?
I think, Tom, when I read it, I laughed out loud. And I've read a lot of adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, but it's so fast-paced and so funny. It is so simultaneously the novel, the great novel and the great story that people love and have loved for generations, and so surprisingly new and fresh. I've just never seen anything like it, so I'm thrilled that we're doing it.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Well, what's up next?
Okay. Well, we thought just this once, we'd try something different to get people in the holiday spirit and do a little play called A Christmas Carol. Perhaps you've heard of it. I'm joking, of course. Christmas Carol has become the premier holiday tradition in Southern New England. Last year's production was Trinity Rep's highest selling show of all time, and this year's figures to be even better. This production will be directed by Mark Valdez. And our Trinity Rep audiences might remember his outstanding and heart-forward production of Fuente de Vacuna last spring. Performances for Christmas Carol sold out last year. They sold out really quickly, but if you subscribe, you'll have first access plus exclusive discounts to A Christmas Carol tickets to secure your favorite date and time.
Is there anything you can tell us about A Christmas Carol, like who's playing Scrooge?
No, I can't tell you that. Sorry. I'm not ready to announce those things yet, but here's what I can tell you. Okay. We're going to be performing Christmas Carol in November, and I really want to encourage audiences to come in November because it's a great way to get into the holiday spirit. Audiences who came early last year said to me that it was the way that they kicked off their holiday, and it made a huge difference to how the rest of December went for them. So come early, come often.
There we go. All right, so what happens in the new year?
Yeah, what happens in the new year is that we actually will have two shows up next. Both are going to be running on the same set. Now, we've been doing this for a couple of years, but we're doing it now with a renewed vigor. The first play is a beautiful, poetic adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey by a brilliant contemporary playwright named Marcus Gardley. This play is called Black Odyssey, and it's reframed through the Black American experience. We follow Ulysses Lincoln, a Gulf War veteran, lost at sea, struggling to find his way back home to the U.S. and to his wife and son. He's unknowingly being manipulated by a host of gods, some cruel, some kind. His journey is a breathtaking, gloriously theatrical reimagining of Homer's classic that brilliantly combines Greek mythology and African American history of the last 50 years. And Tom, if I can flip the script here a little bit, okay. This play was one that when I gave it to you to read a couple of months ago, you said this is one of the best things that I've ever read. Why is that?
Well, it is theater at its finest. It's totally theatrical, spectacular, breathtaking. For people that love the mountaintop, as I did, it's that type of play. It's an epic story told in just a brilliant and beautiful way.
And it's interesting that you reference the mountaintop because Kent Gash, who directed the mountaintop, is coming back to direct Black Odyssey. So it's going to be thrilling to have this production happen here in the Dowling Theater. And in addition to Black Odyssey, we're going to do a special additional piece. It's for our audiences that are subscribers. It's only for subscribers, a special one-week engagement of An Iliad by Lisa Peterson and Dennis O'Hare. This is a spectacular one-person play where a lone storyteller recounts familiar tales of gods and goddesses, wars and battles, and humanity's unshakable attraction to violence, destruction, and chaos over the millennia. And I think this pairing of these two somewhat similar plays is kind of like what we did a couple of years ago with To Kill a Mockingbird and James Baldwin's Blues for Mr. Charlie. These two stories will resonate even more strongly together, so I encourage people to sign up for both of them.
Yeah, it's to be able to see an Iliad and an Odyssey together.
That's
is
right.
Fantastic. And an Iliad is a limited run engagement.
Yep.
It's not on the subscription season, but it is available exclusively to subscribers until October 1st.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Okay, what's next is probably my favorite Shakespeare of all time. It has thrills, suspense, and the supernatural. What more could you want? It's a tale of unchecked ambition, of greed, and then ultimately madness. It's Shakespeare's Scottish play. We're here in the Dowling Theater. It's actually bad luck to say the name of the play aloud, so we'll just point to the screen. Our Shakespeare productions continue to be hugely popular with teachers and students, and we anticipate a great number of student matinees to happen through our landmark Project Discovery program for this production.
Now, Kurt, you're the director of this play.
I am.
So what is your vision for it?
Well, Tom, a little bit of backstory. This play was my introduction to theater. I was 12
That
years
explains
old.
a lot.
It does,
No.
it does, it does. I was 12 years old. I was cast as the Scottish Lord in my little pudgy legs and tights. It was really fantastic. So I have always wanted to stage this play for our audience. But it never felt like the right time. When I reread the play this season, it felt very contemporary and now. And so audiences can expect that I'm going to find ways to bring the now into the play, but I'm also thrilled to do something that is so fantastical, that is so out of the ordinary, and make that relate to what's going on in our world today.
Great. All right, so moving into spring,
That's
what
right.
is next?
So next we have a fresh, touching story by one of the country's hottest new playwrights, a young woman named Lauren Yee. This play is called The Song of Summer, and it's about a young hit musician who leaves midway through one of his big, giant concerts to visit the home of his childhood piano teacher. What and who he finds there may change everything in his life for him, and I'm overjoyed to introduce our audiences to Lauren's work.
So, Kurt, Lauren's work may be new to our audiences.
It
She's
will.
being produced everywhere.
Everywhere in the
But
country.
could you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, the reason that people are drawn to Lauren's work, she's such a great writer of dialogue. She's such a great describer of character. Her plays are brilliantly smart, but also joyous at the same time. And the thing that I love about The Song of Summer, which was written for our resident acting company, is that it's a love story, ultimately. And so I'm really thrilled to have that as a part of our season. Talking about fame and the price of fame, but also what it means to love. So I can't wait for people to see the work.
Very exciting. Okay, so then what?
What's next? Next is a show that blends doo-wop, rock, and Motown and 1950s sci-fi into a charming and totally twisted must-see Trinity Rep event. The perennially popular, award-winning musical Little Shop of Horrors from the famous duo of Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. The songs are fantastic, and I think the story is surprising social critique as well. So I'm thrilled to offer it to our audiences.
So, why Little Shop, other than it's fabulous?
Yeah, we were trying to find a musical that had the same epic scope as the rest of the season. It's got monsters, it's got heroes and villains, It's told in that 1950s sci-fi way, so it's very grand in scale, and I think it'll really resonate with people as a part of the flow of this whole season.
And great music too.
Unbelievable music. You won't
Catchy tunes.
You won't leave the theater without singing the songs. Yeah.
Excellent. So coming up to the end of the season.
Yeah.
What closes us out?
The last play is a true American classic, written by a national treasure. The play is called Marisol by Jose Rivera. It feels a little bit like a contemporary Latinx-flavored Alice in Wonderland. We will follow Marisol Perez, a young Puerto Rican woman living in New York, as she navigates an urban landscape littered with challenges, dangers, and guardian angels. Jose Rivera's masterpiece ultimately asks us if it's possible to recover compassion for our fellow men and women in a primal, poetic, fantastical, and often humorous contemporary classic.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now, when I read the play, I sensed similarities between Marisol and Angels in America. Can you talk a little bit about that?
You are correct about that. Tony Kushner talks about how he would not have written Angels in America if he had not seen Marisol. So that the inspiration to write about angels is directly linked to the play. Both plays are about 25 years old at this point. And we've never done Jose Rivera's plays here at Trinity Rep, so it's past time. I'm thrilled to introduce the audiences to this great American playwright, and I know that people are going to want to see more and more of his work in the years to come. So that, my friends, is your 2018-19 Trinity Repertory Company subscription season. The subscriptions are available now, beginning at just $114 for 6 plays. That's a whole season of world-class theater for the price of a single Broadway ticket. A number of these shows will sell out, so subscribe now, as individual tickets do not go on sale until this summer.
Kurt, all of this is so great. So hopefully people have been sending in their questions by social media. So let's see if we have any questions from the viewing audience.
Someone has asked, can we see pictures of Kurt as McBee? You will get to see them. My mom made the costume. I just have to tell everyone this. It's one of my favorite pictures ever. I'm in this little kind of brown tunic with a big medallion that I stole from her jewelry box and orange leggings. I will make sure that that is in the program when we do the show next year.
So the only way to see that photo, though, is to come and see the play, because we'll put it in the program.
Tell you what, if you subscribe, I will give a copy of the photo to Kate, who's our marketing director, and she will make sure that scanned copy will get to you.
All right, so next question. What makes this season special? So,
yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled because we're telling all of these epic stories. The world is in such an interesting place right now, and I feel unsettled when I talk to people in the community. That's the word that they use. So there's something familiar about all of these stories, and we wanted to tell familiar tales, but in a new way. I think that's the thing that makes the season so out of the ordinary. Epic stories, but told in a new way. And I'm excited to share that with our audience, and in particular with our subscribers.
Great. Yeah, there are stories about power, the price of power, fame, the price of fame, the American dream, the price of the American dream.
Yeah.
All these big ideas that many are wrestling with right now. How free will, control,
Yep.
all of these things.
Yeah, it's interesting, Tom, that you talk about those themes, because I think while that can sound heady, each of these pieces is so remarkably theatrical, funny, weird, odd, all of these things that I think what people are going to find particularly juicy about the season is that it's stories that they know, told in an unexpected way. It's big ideas told with great heart and great poetry and verve and imagination. So that's what I love about it.
I guess that's why we call Trinity Rep your home for dramatic discoveries.
Dramatic discoveries, that's right.
Yeah, so subscribe today, and you can see it all. Packages begin at just $114 for all 6 plays. That's only $19 per ticket. It's a great price.
It's a great deal.
Plus, you get discounted parking, tickets and restaurant deals, free ticket exchange privileges, so if your schedule changes, just call the box office and they can take care of you. We also have payment plans available, so if you need to space out the payments, you can totally do that. Ticket representatives are standing by, so give them a call at 401-351-4242. So
I think that's
I think that's
all
our we have.
Yeah, right. That's the end of our announcement. So we're going to have a little champagne toast. I wish you could be here to join us. This is courtesy of Bottles Fine Wine, who are the official sommeliers of Trinity Rep. I also used to be a waiter, which is why I can open a bottle of sparkling wine on a set that has not been sealed yet, so I was told not to get any moisture. But Tom, here's your
Thank you.
sparkling wine. Here's mine. And here is a toast to your theater, Trinity Repertory Company. Thank you for joining us.
Hope to
Cheers.
see you next year.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Well, that's good.